Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Duskmourn Arena Open sealed here on the channel. Today, we're going to be playing some best of three, trying to get 4 wins before any losses to qualify for day 2, where we can draft for up to $2,000 in cash. If you do enjoy this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe for more, and comment with your questions, thoughts, and feedback. Okie doke, diving in. Not the most inspiring cards I've ever seen, but we do have Overlord of Baelmerk and Overlord of Boiler Villagers, both of which are excellent. So maybe red-black on the menu. There's also Winter, which is a card I've been wanting to try, but maybe not here, depending on how our fixing looks. Marvin is just like often a 2-mana 2/2, but at least we have a couple good cards. And then Zimon's awesome, so we could maybe go for Teamer with this sort of vibe, or yeah, we'll see what we can do. Okay, so what I like to do first is look at my colors and just see if there's any like good stuff going on in each color. So in white, I see Optimistic Scavenger, which is really good with these 3 grand entryways, so that's kind of potentially good. There is another 1-drop, so there's actually 2 more 1-drops. So there's a bunch of 1-drops. There's a 2-drop, reasonable, Exercise is fine. This card's quite good, very solid. So white aggro could be pretty good, especially if I have some blue, white, gold uncommons. Let's just double check that real quick. I do not have any of the blue, white, gold uncommons, so that's going to make it tougher to go into that deck for sure. Blue, I've got 2 Unable to Screams, nice. I've got a Fear of Isolation, nice. I've got Stay Hidden, Stay Silent, great. This card is great. This card is great. Pretty reasonable. So blue's looking quite good, and remember I do have that Zimone in blue. Black, couple murders. And this Live or Die, the Overlord of the Baelmerk. So maybe I would just splash Overlord of the Baelmerk if I could get my mana to support it. Red, I've got Betrayer's Bargain, Scorching Dragonfire, Fear of Being Hunted is fine. I've got the Overlord of the Bilges, Boiler Bilges, and Glasswork. So not a ton of depth in red. I do also have 2 Clockwork Percussionists with a synergy piece turn inside out, so that's good to keep in mind. And then green, I've got Emergence, Vigor, a couple of Watchdogs, Defiant Survivor can be okay. I love Under the Skin. I love Wickerfolk Thresher. This card can be solid as a land cycler. We've got Moldering Gym Weight Rooms. Rickety Gazebo is not my favorite one. Then we have 1 red-green land and no other like Terramorphic Expanse, which is a little bit rougher. Zimone, the fixing is not great here, so I will say blue looked the best to me, followed by, I mean, blue, greens, and red. Blue, green, blue, white would be really good if we had, like, I don't know, maybe we could just try blue, white. It just feels like it lacks some of our most powerful cards, like the Boiler Bilges. And a lot of our red removal. If we played blue-red, we could play the Smoky Lounge, Misty Salon, though I don't have a ton of rooms. And I do have a lot of good green cards. So I could just try to build a Teamer deck. And then just ignore the 1 Baelmerk guy. That seems like it could be a good strategy. Let's add our good blue cards here. Or at least our solid ones. And we can always remove them later. I don't really like playing the land cyclers a lot of the time. They're okay to play sometimes, like 1 copy. I think the green one's the best one, because if you flip it, it's like most potential damage. So this is my blue cards. These are all pretty good. And then if I wanted to play red as well, or green as well, let's say, then I could get these 2 guys in there, I could get this in there. And then I'm in pretty good shape with this. So this is like my blue-green deck. And then if I wanted to splash red, it's kind of hard to splash this guy is the problem. He's kind of a base color kind of guy. But he is quite nice. Go for a deep splash. Play like 6 red sources. The only problem is my mana base doesn't really support that. I would have this, and then I'd have to play like 5 red sources independently. So I'd have this, I'd have the Moldering Gym. I could have this as a source of fixing. Like, it'd be easier to splash this black card. I wouldn't have the land, but I wouldn't need quite as much support for it. Red does also give me access to Scorching, Betrayer's Bargain, and Glassworks as removal spells, though. So maybe it's worth the deep red splash. Or just playing red as a base color. What does blue provide? Really good removal, really good card. Zamone. I could splash the Zamone. Zamone's much easier to splash. And I could do a deep splash of blue, but they're all single-pipped cards. So if I splash blue here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 great blue cards. But I still get to play like Dragonfire, Betrayer's Bargain, this card, Turn Inside Out, a couple Clockworks, Fear of Being Hunted. Definitely playing the Moldering Gym in this situation, and then just probably like my mediocre green cards to get to playable count. And this actually looks a little bit better, I think. Could also play Bedhead Beastie if I really felt the need. I could play this card. Most of my good spells are permanents, enchantments, artifact, instants, creatures. So this is 4, 5 blue sources for 4 blue cards. I don't know if I want to play Fear of Being Hunted here. And I have 6, 7 red, 7 green. This is kind of like 8/8 with the Beastie and the Slavering. So there is more green than red. I don't really want to play Bedhead Beastie anyway. This seems like it could work. Fear of Being Hunted is not going to be playable in this deck, though. So I'll play Friendly Teddy maybe, or Found Footage could actually be okay. Smooth my draw a little bit. Fear of Found Footage. I mean, Fear of Being Hunted is just too mana intensive. All these red 1-drops are potentially problematic as well. So maybe I cut 1 Percussionist and add in a Teddy or something. Teddy's really bad, though. I think I'm going to build it like this. It's going to be an interesting one, to say the least. Maybe I cut the Percussionist, add in the Beastie. Yeah, that seems a little bit better. I don't actually have that many red cards, but you don't really want to play Beastie as your only red option. This copies activated abilities. I don't have activated abilities really on my creatures, so that's not going to be an issue. Okay, we're going to run it like this, and we will see how we do. I'll see you folks in the games. Before I get to the games, I want to give a huge shout out to all of the patrons who support my channel at patreon.com/NicolaiBolas. Because of Patreon support from viewers like you, I'm able to make more high quality videos on a consistent basis, which is great. As a patron, you gain access to cool rewards like my card by card tier list for each set, where I grade each card on an A through F scale, as well as my format thoughts document, where I go into more detailed analysis on cards, my big picture thoughts on the format, and how I'm approaching things so you can find more success in your own drafts. I want to give a special shout out to those patrons who support at the credits level. It really does make a big difference. And without further ado, let's get to the games. Welcome to round 1. We will keep this on the draw. The greenhouse actually does good work here. Mulliganing is really bad in general. Are they going turn 1 clockwork on me? Nope. And there's always the chance of having a draw like that come through. This isn't the best deck I've ever had, but at least it does something powerful when it comes together. My opponent is a red deck, so maybe more aggressive. We'll have to see what their second color is if they reveal it here. We have a little bit of removal, so we don't have to be too selective, but they're playing 2 red cards. Okay. Are they killing Percussionist on upkeep? So here, it doesn't really matter. The red spell they could have that would kill this would exile it anyway. So we don't have to worry about them like killing this, and then it's also end of next turn, so. Here we will hold up Scorching Dragonfire. Also, I'm just going to play this on full control. Why not? I don't mind. Might not be the most fun gameplay, but it is technically more optimal in these higher stakes games. I kind of want to get into the habit of doing it. Okay. I'm definitely going to kill that. Perfect. And then we will use our Moldering Gym. Actually, never mind. They're playing red-black. Actually, let's just do this. It's really tough as a play, though. I just feel like they're going to have some... Like, they play any creature, and all of a sudden I just can't attack next turn. Or it's a trade. And this is just going to at least guarantee advancing my game plan. So red-black, it's going to have some sacrifice, a lot of removal. Value is really good in these situations. Sprinter, sure. So that's the sort of card that I'll note because I want to know about hasters. Fear of being hunted. Okay. We will lead this. Actually, first we're going to attack. Because this will maybe give us some options, some flexibility, some land drops to guarantee our 6th land. Okay. I think we want the Percussionist. And the... Survivor. Actually, we're going to take these two because that gives us more flexibility with our mana. I guess maybe I messed that up and I should have played my land first, but I thought I might hit a land, so I think, never mind, that doesn't actually make that much sense. But if I played this first, I would have been able to hold up red. But the reason I took the 1-drop and 2-drop is now if I draw a land, I could activate this, and play this, or activate that and play this. Gives me a lot more options. They're holding it back. Okay. So if they have one big removal spell, they want to be able to use it on this. So I benefit the most from playing a bunch of small creatures and making this like my best threat. Let's just do this to start then. Keep that on top for sure. Till the end of your next turn. So I kind of want to draw that to deal with their sprinter. Every point of damage matters. Every piece of value matters. Locking down their sprinter is pretty good for me. Because of the long-term benefits it has. Then I can just hard cast this if I can get a good kill off with it. Or I can just deal damage to them, but I don't really want to do that. But every point of damage matters. That's kind of the mentality I'm trying to embody. They didn't do anything on their turn. Okay, Fear of Vengeance. Sure. That at least didn't kill my Overlord. I'm going to kind of save Under the Skin in case I can get this to work with Overlord. Okay, they're still holding up their big removal spells. Remember, every point of damage matters. Sure. So they just drew that because they didn't play it last turn. So I can play any card in my deck. So if they have a murder, then they can start to use it. But then I can get it back with Under the Skin. So they must have, I think they almost certainly have a murder in their hand. Which is why I didn't want to just use this for damage. Yep. Okay. So if I get up to 9 mana, I can play this and hardcast this in the same turn. So I think I'm going to take a turn off here. And this way, if they have a kill spell, they're more likely to use it on this guy. And I'll be able to play my Overlord to kill something without it being... having, like, to wait 4 turns to attack. Okay, are they attacking? They are not attacking. So if they don't attack, it means they don't have a kill spell. They probably would kill my 5/5. They have all spells in hand, though, because they've been missing land drops for some time. So I think my best bet here, I could go for the highest upside play, get under the skin, get back this, play this, attack them for 5. And as I said, every point of damage matters. But I'm going to try to play around them having a... I don't think they have a kill spell. Why would they have a kill spell? So maybe I do just go for that line. That's a perfect card to manifest. Because I don't want to give them the option to block and use a combat trick. And every point of damage does matter because this is now a 5/4. So if I had done the other line where I attack them, then bring this guy back and shoot them, I guess I would have still done the exact same thing because they probably wouldn't have blocked, but maybe they wanted to chump block. Okay, so they're missing a color. That's what it was. They have Murder. They have Final Vengeance. Okay. Appendage Amalgam. So they're holding up perfect. I do have to do it this way, yeah. Threatening lethal is way better than like trying to do some weird bluffy thing. So I guess I could have attacked and then flipped it up after attacks and missed my trigger, but had a better creature for if they did kill my thing. That's actually interesting. Because they have a kill spell. If I flip first, they'll kill that guy. But if I flip second, I'll have the 5/4. I think actually it was better to wait and not flip. Okay. So I've got a lot of options. They have Undead Sprinter. Anything good against that? No. They have actually one of the few cards that Anthropede is good against because a lot of the time they will lead with the Meat Locker and then you can kill it with Anthropede. So I'm going to bring this in. What cards line up badly against their cards? The Sprinter, the 3/2 Flash. The 3/2 Flash is pretty good against my Clockwork Percussionists. But even then, it's not like the end of the world. They're not going to have any flyers in red-black. So 4/2 maybe doesn't do as much. Not that I mind I'm bringing in an Anthropede, but Undead Sprinter kind of owns it. as well. Yeah, let's do it like that. I really like these high stakes games because they really put me in my thinking cap mode. Okay. On the draw, I think this is a pretty clear mulligan. They're also mulliganing, that helps for sure. And this is an easy keep because I have this forest cycler. I'm going to ditch a mountain because I don't need that many lands here. I'm going to be forest cycling one of my most expensive cards. I have greenhouse to let me tap for blue, and I can also just kill something on that turn. There are some mulligans that feel like they're not really a mulligan. Like if you hit all your land drops and you're not really in that much pain, it's always going to be a little bit better. Okay, so they changed their colors completely for game 2. I'm glad I didn't over sideboard. And the card I did sideboard in is probably going to be pretty good against this version of their deck too, because they're still going to have that room. And they're playing full control now. Okay. Blue-green, eh? And then for game 3, I'll have to figure out which version they're playing. Unless, of course, they were still their black-red selves. Okay. Zimone. Quite good here. Killing Zimone is often the right call, because otherwise we'll get back another 1-1 later in the game. I think I have to do this. Kill Zimone. Accept my fate for a few turns, and then I can maybe use turn inside out and maybe one of my monkeys to trade with this. I'm actually really happy to see the crab right now. Even if it's pretty good against me in some situations, I'm really was like, if they played like the random 4-4, I was going to be in so much trouble because I can't actually answer it. So I was going to take 3 this turn and then 7 next turn. That's half my life total. So if they're playing crab, it probably means they don't have a big creature or they would have played it. So in their hand, they either have lands or removal spells. Most likely. Okay. So that makes me think they don't have expensive spells. Interesting. So I've changed my plan a little bit. Normally I would just play the Rickety Gazebo here. But in this situation, they don't actually have that much going on. They have 5 power. They only have 3 lands in play. So I'm just going to wait on the value play this for now. Maybe set up my draw, maybe not. I'm probably going to keep whatever it is on top because they might mill it anyway. Okay, I would love to draw that. Play my mountain. And then pass, because this gives me a blocker for their 3/3 guy. They're not playing anything too expensive here. I can trade here. Next turn I can play Greenhouse into Stay Hidden, Stay Silent on Fear of Isolation. This is a nice combo, the Percussionist and the Inside Out. So they're killing that, okay. Again, this is why I'm so happy they played the crab that turn. Like, they're only added 2 power to the board. We're going to play this. Play the monkey. And chillax. So I don't know anything about the last 2 cards, but it's not a big creature. It's not an expensive card. They wouldn't want to bounce the land. They would have just bounced the crab. So it could be a removal spell. But now I can cast this on this. Okay. So it's not the end of the world. This is why you block before going for that sort of thing. Because they killed my guy, but I got the little card back out of my monkey dying. Perfect. Play the big half of this first. They hit me for another 2. Oh, that's huge. Oh, that's so perfect for me. Because I can flip it to block Fear of Isolation at some point here. So they don't have a kill spell, or they would have killed this, hit me for 5. Now's the point where they could have all lands in hand. They could also have kill spells for small creatures. They could have a creature. They could still have a big spell here. Doesn't really matter what I have because the gazebo really fixes my mana well. This is a risky play by me because they know I have something, or I would have used the gazebo here. Sure. So I'm taking a big hit. Gotta make sure I spend my mana there. Five, 6, 7, 8. So Zimone not doing much here. Pretty rough. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm 2 lands away from this, but might as well go for this. Give myself a chump blocker. And I'm going to put this on the Fear of Isolation because I have more ground defenses in my deck. And I probably will shuffle this away next turn. Whiffing with this a little bit was kind of unfortunate. Especially because some of these cards were my best ones. Like using the Unnerving Grasp would have been awesome. Okay. Get that guy out of here. Get a manifest. That's actually a huge manifest. So I have to assume they have nothing in hand. But if they do, then I can go block here, flip this guy, it dies. I can either surveil away a land, and if I do, then I get the 11/11 fractal if I do draw a land. Any card is good for me here. Of course, if they have a combat trick, I lose. Yep. Gosh, unfortunate. I really felt like I was playing that game pretty well, and then we had that really unfortunate greenhouse flip where we only hit a mountain. Really tough. Okay, well, against Fear of Isolation, I don't really want enchantment removal, but I think Stay Hidden, Stay Silent is so good that it's still worth playing. I think this is going to be a good version against either version of their deck, though maybe the Grasping Long Neck comes back in. I'm just going to run it like this again. Okay, we will play first. And we will... Oh, this hand is definitely a keep, I think. Oh, it's so rough. I don't have a red source. My mana sucks in this deck. I had to mulligan that. I think this hand is keepable, though. I'm going to ditch Horrid Vigor. Ah, it's so tough. This can get me 2 of the types. Take a turn this thing on. Oh, man. I felt like that was going to be a good game for me. I don't understand how I consistently end the game with like 10 mana in play trying to get my 11th land for Zimone, and my opponent is like chilling with like 6. Rickety Gazebo, you let me down last game. But you did make my mana slightly more palatable. Gosh, this card is so good. Unfortunately, this thing's going to get to draw them a bunch of cards this game. I don't have a kill spell in sight. Ugh. That could be good for me if they don't have Manifest Dread. Wow, so what do they have? Do they just have all lands in hand? Regardless, letting this thing live isn't great for me, but lands and removal, I guess. So if they are choked on things to do... If I draw Fear of Isolation, I think I'd rather have Under the Skin. This also gets me to Delirium faster. For the Wicker Folk. Like, I could have just played Wicker Folk, but I feel like that just ends so badly if they kill it. Like, they kill it, they get to loot again. They play Bookworm again. I think they have Betrayer's Bargain up, maybe. I'm still just going to have to play the Wicker Folk Thresher. I suspect this is dying. Either on my turn now or next turn. They discarded a spell, though, which means they have enough lands and spells now. It also might look like, oh, they have 7 cards in hand and I have 1, but I also have this, which is going to get me 2 cards. This is which is going to get me a 3rd one. So it's really like 7 to 4. This will get me a card when it dies. I would be stunned if Wicker Folk Thresher lived here. It just makes no sense for them not to have a kill spell. It's just kind of a shame that I felt like I had to play it. This Bookworm has just owned me. I didn't find my removal spells here. Oh. Huh. So I could find Monstrous Emergence or Scorching Dragonfire to kill this guy. I think I'm going to sacrifice Found Footage as a result. Wow. Beastie Beatdown. Sure. Okay. Perfect. If I do see Scorching Dragonfire, I'd rather use that. I don't want either of those. This thing has done so much work, though. But I think they don't have any more lands they want to discard. And this is still going to cash in for a couple cards later. So them discarding the Cathartic thing is pretty bad for me, because it means they didn't want to kill my gazebo. They're going to try to kill this thing for sure. Or for good, maybe. Okay, they're going to try to stun it again. So drawing a land here is actually essential. I didn't realize I was going to draw another 6-drop. Like, I didn't feel that bad about milling the lands before, but... Okay. Here I need to make sure I can hit my 6th land for the weight room next turn. I'm going to take the damage. Beautiful. Okay, I get this guy. And fear. I'm taking a 6-point hit here. Oh, man. Not playing Anthropede was risky. We'll see how it pays off. I might not have to go for Fear of Isolation for value. I might just use it as a blocker for fear of being hunted. Okay, I'm at 8. I might feel the need to tap my Wicker Folk Thresher again. Oh, the Branch Snapper. Okay. Well, that's a card. For 4. Gosh, I am actually 1 land short of doing what I need to do to win this game. Oh no, because this can bounce a land. Perfect. Okay. So I have to kill the thing that does the most damage and stops me from making flexible blocks. And then I play this. Return a forest. Slightly sad, but that's how it goes. Play this. And then I'd have to hope they don't have a kill spell, which they probably do, and I'm probably dead. I guess not playing the Anthropede could have been too greedy. Yep. Huh. Doesn't even work with this. Good game, opponent. Would I have been able to win if I had just jammed Anthropod? Well, they would have just exiled it and hit me for 5. Gosh. Oh, man, that's frustrating. I feel like I was in just like so close to everything working out there. Maybe if I had kept a land on top so I could just play my 7/6 instead of having to cycle it away. Oh, man. They did get to sculpt their hand forever, but that feels like a tough loss. Man, I feel like I had it, but I feel like I'd maybe turn the corner. Oh, well. We tried our best. Those games are really intense. I mean, we won game 1, so we were actually like in good shape. And then they switched decks, and I felt like our matchup against their new deck was pretty reasonable. And we were just slightly not close and not good enough both times. Well, this was our deck. I mean, oh gosh, just some unfortunate stuff. Like if our greenhouse had Rickety Gazebo had done as well in our second game as it did in our third game, then we would have been able to win that one. But unfortunately, we did not find our really good cards in game 2, and that's when we needed them most. That's going to do it for this one, though. If you made it all the way till the end, in the comment section down below, leave hashtag Teamer to let me know you made it to the end, because that was our color combination. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you next time.